Welcome, everybody. Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News at ClimateViewer.com. Is weather control real? I get this question a lot. The answer is no. There's no such thing as weather control. Weather modification, climate modification, modified, yes. Controlled, no. Control is an illusion. We're going to really dive into this because we got some reiteration once again from the Government Accountability Office this time, telling us what we've known for 79 years, that cloud seeding is not effective and has never proved that it's effective, but we keep doing it and people keep pouring millions, if not billions of dollars worldwide into the process of trying to control precipitation. How could we ever have geoengineering where they block sunlight on a worldwide scale if in 79 years they have not been able to prove the scientific efficacy of cloud seeding? This was a question I asked Ken Caldera in 2012, and he was really upset about that. But it's still true today. If you're watching this anywhere else, if it's your first time here, go to connect.climateviewer.com to connect all the things, to climateviewer.com, climateviewer.org, and weathermodificationhistory.com. Support the channel by giving a monthly donation. Join the SUBSTACK newsletter. Join the Telegram chat if you really want to get involved. And if you have a bunch of beliefs that you need to have checked, possibly wrecked, join in on the fun at Telegram, t.me/ClimateViewer chat. Let's go, chat. All right, so this is from Vice News. This is January 4th, 2025. Can the U.S. government control the weather? A new report says not really. Now, a lot of people would immediately go, Jim, why are you showing this to me? And if you're wondering why there's all these blank spaces, that's because my ad blockers be kicking hard. Conspiracy theorists have latched on to cloud seeding in recent years. It's the latest way the feds are trying to control your brain or make you gay or whatever flavor of paranoia their particular version of the theory has taken on. Now, I'm not going to read this article by Vice because it's Vice. Let's be real. But interestingly enough, this has been 1933. Miss Lee is doing absolutely fine. If you did not get the update, she was diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma via an app on her phone when they took the sample, and immediately, it was about maybe 7 days later, she had the doctor visit, and the doctor was like, yeah, I looked at it closely myself, and we don't need to dig any deeper into your skin. It's fine. Yes, it was cancerous, but you're fine, and we've been fine ever since. Thank you for asking. But the point here is that, and I came up with this entire list. I was going to do all of the weather, stuff from today. Just like do the entire last week and go through all this. But I'd rather just focus on a couple at a time. And let's see, where's this Blaze Media one that I saw? Because it really annoyed me. Because this is the problem. Right here is the problem. Cloud seeding. This is on Blaze Media. All right. Cloud seeding revisited. Can the government control the weather? All right. And look, what do we have here? We have them chemtrails. So this is, it's stupidity like this where people get all screwed up because now geoengineering means cloud seeding means chemtrails. Cloud seeding means geoengineering means chemtrails. Like, everybody thinks all the things mean all the things. And that's the problem with people who don't have a brain, who are just addicted to fear or want a clickbaity title. Like, I guess, Cloud seeding revisited. Can the government control the weather? I scrolled through this, and one of their evidences of this being a thing, after like actually talking about some real things, was that now for some controversy. Colonel Douglas McGregor recently sat down with Dane Wigington from Geoengineering Watch, and I guess that is freaking evidence that they talked. This guy's never been able to prove a damn word out of his mouth. Hate all you like. Hate me if you... I don't care. I don't care. The point is this. Folks, that's right, Jace. Folks do love their fantasies. They love their fantasies, and they hold on to them dearly. Me, I'm living in the real world. I'm the captain of Realville. And we're going to keep it real today, for real. So here we go. This is the Government Accountability Office's report. It was published December 19th, 2024. So right before Christmas. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. And we'll just hit the fun facts real quick. This technology assessment looks at how policies might address challenges such as unavailable or unreliable data on effectiveness, unpredictable cloud conditions which need to be favorable for cloud seeding, uncertain safety using silver iodide more widely. Is it even safe? Is it, something that's going to make people sick? Well, they always say, we don't think so. Anyway, what did the GAO find? What do they believe? So, cloud seeding, a decades-old approach to modifying weather that uses a range of supporting technologies for research and operations. According to NOAA, the most common uses of cloud seeding are to increase precipitation or suppress hail, usually by adding tiny particles of silver iodide. 9 U.S. states are currently using it, while 10 have banned or are considering banning cloud seeding or weather modification in general. That includes states like Florida and Massachusetts and Tennessee, where there literally has not been a cloud seeding project since the 1950s. Did you know that? That cloud seeding in America is almost exclusively a West Coast phenomenon. If you are east of the Mississippi River, there has not been a cloud seeding project east of the Mississippi River since the 1950s. Cloud seeding was invented in 1946. I'm not reading, I'm just telling you guys this. Cloud seeding was invented in 1946 by Vincent Schaefer, Irving Langmuir, and Bernard Vonnegut at the General Electric Laboratories. And in the early days, they tried a couple projects on the East Coast, but it was largely ineffective. But the West has always been water strapped. The West also gives the seeding material enough time to actually land on the ground. If you were to cloud seed over South Carolina, the rain would fall in the ocean. Does that make sense? So generally speaking, there has been almost none to my knowledge that I've ever checked on a weather modification report. And you can see all those reports. I got them bookmarked right here. I'll just bring it up for you guys in case you haven't ever seen this in your lifetime. We'll share the screen real quick. You go over here to the NOAA Public Library, and they used to. I had to do FOIAs to get these things, but now you can actually come down here and actually look at all of the different projects. So like you click on this, and it will actually bring up the PDF, and you can see, when they did it, December 1 day. Type hours of apparatus by operation, 66 hours of ground-based cloud seeding with silver iodide, 1,422 grams. Okay, Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E. Okay, in Oakland, California. So I just picked a random one, and you can see, who did it, who was behind reporting it, who paid for it, all of that stuff. This is the interim and final report. If you look at an initial report, it looks completely different, and it will show you who, Alta Ski Lifts paid North American Weather Consultants. So you can go and you can look all of this stuff up. I'm not exaggerating when I say that it's all pretty much west of the Rocky Mountains or the Mississippi River. In fact, I'll go to ClimateViewer 3D quick. Let's just look real quick. ClimateViewer.org/3D. And we'll just go to geoengineering weather modification. These are the actual weather modification reports that I was just referring to. And I can just click on all of them. Boom, boom, boom. And boom, and boom. And these are and you can clearly see Mississippi River right here. These are all of the different projects that were reported to the government. If it's a rain cloud, it's precipitation enhancement. It says it right there. Make it nice and big for you guys. Precipitation enhancement right there. If it's a mountain, it's snowpack augmentation. Okay. And up here, this is fog suppression. So I gave it a different icon. And the little snowflakes are hail mitigation, hail suppression. So you can see who paid for it. North Dakota Atmospheric Resource Board. Who did it? Weather Modification Incorporated. 8,900 square miles. They used 99,000 grams, almost 100,000 grams of silver iodide and 5,000 pounds of CO2, dry ice or other. So these are the weather modification reports that I'm talking about. And I could bring up a whole bunch of other maps. Clearly, I got a lot of them in here of, everything from ground-based cloud seeding generators to literally the whole world. The ground-based cloud seeding generators, where they are on the mountains. All this stuff's available on ClimateViewer 3D. Point is, when they say that 9 states are currently using it and 10 have already banned it or considering banning it, it's ironic that at least 4 of those states haven't had an operational cloud seeding project since the 1950s. Just telling you. So you need to know what cloud seeding is. It's not what most people are thinking of. It damn sure ain't what the Blaze Media is showing when they show that. I mean, that one really, got my goat today when I saw that. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. They did that. They literally put cloud seeding here and then showed a plane, plane farts making clouds here. It's just so clickbaity. And this is just what's confusing everybody. They're like, but I can smell the chemicals. All this. Well, that's not cloud seeding, bro. I mean, we could argue about that because technically, if you want to get real technical, what chemtrails are black carbon particles filled with metals coming out of the exhaust of a plane and water sticking to it. So it is effectively making a cloud seed, which turns into a cirrus cloud if it doesn't melt away immediately and it actually fans out. That's a cirrus cloud. So technically it is kind of cloud seeding, but that's usually not what people are referring to when they say the word cloud seeding. And that's definitely not what they're talking about in this Government Accountability Office report. I think I made my point. So regardless, federal cloud seeding involvement and support is minimal. Now, used to with Project Skywater and other projects, there was much more involvement of the U.S. government in federal funding of these activities. But now you can go through the reports, you can read them yourself. Most of these are, funded by large farms, irrigation districts, power companies. The list goes on and on. I have the entire list. You can see them either looking at my maps or going straight to NOAA's weather modification reporting website and read it yourself. You can literally, the phone numbers are right there on it. You can call the people who did it. You can call the people who paid for it. Cloud seeding may increase water availability and result in economic, environmental, and human health benefits. In the studies GAO reviewed, estimates of additional precipitation ranged from 0, that's right, 0, a big fat goose egg, to 20%. 20%, my big old butt. However, it is difficult to evaluate the effect of cloud seeding due to limitations of effectiveness research. I'm not reading that wrong. That's literally. However, it is difficult to evaluate the effects of cloud seeding due to limitations of effectiveness research. Okay. Just checking. Not crazy. Not crazy. It's not me. Promise, swear. Anyway, the Government Accountability Office identified challenges to the use and development of cloud seeding, including reliable information is lacking on the conduct of optimal effective cloud seeding and its benefits and effects. Without such information, operations will be less effective and return on funding investments is unclear. Translation: you're not getting what you're paying for. They are literally gambling. They have no idea what the hell is going to happen. They're hoping they're going to make it rain, but it might actually make it not rain. Proof on that in just a minute. So, cloud seeding operations, this is 2, can only enhance precipitation when the right kind of clouds are present, which limits opportunities for success. 3, existing research we reviewed, while limited to a handful of recent studies, suggests silver iodide does not pose an environmental or health concern at current levels. At current levels. Now, they've all said, hey, silver iodide can't hurt anybody. Silver's toxic. So how does that make sense? Silver salt. That's what it basically is. They also use sodium chloride and calcium chloride. We'll get into that in just a second. But these are basically salts. But silver, pretty sure that's toxic. They go on to say, however, it is not known whether more widespread use of silver iodide would have an effect on public health or the environment. Well, it's gotten pretty damn widespread, so I don't know why we haven't come to any studies on that. Federal reporting requirements, number 4, may not include all information necessary to adequately monitor cloud seeding. As a result, opportunities to better evaluate the benefits and potential effects of cloud seeding may be missed. And that goes back to what I was saying about the Weather Modification Reporting Act. The Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972 basically only requires you to fill out an initial report and an interim and final report, and it does not say you have to tell me when you are doing it. Like, they literally go in and they'll say, we're going to start in October and we're going to finish in March, and we're going to put ice on top of these mountains. And that's the snowpack augmentation. Now, interestingly enough, when they're doing that, they're basically saying blanket from October to March, and I'm not going to tell you what days I was doing it, what storms I did seed. Therefore, there are no eyes on this other than the people doing it, so nobody's ever been able to really tell whether they're doing what they say they're going to do or not. Make sense? There needs to be accurate real-time reporting. And in the report here, they even go on to say, well, it might be too expensive for the operators, meaning the people doing the weather modification, and it may be too burdensome on the government, meaning it would require too much internet bandwidth. Are you kidding me? You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. Anyway, opportunities missed because not enough people are reporting it the right way, and the law doesn't require it. Finally, number 5, the public may not fully understand cloud seeding, including how it differs from geoengineering. Yes, it says that. The public may not fully understand cloud seeding, including how it differs from geoengineering, which affects the climate on a longer scales. On longer time scales. So, cold season and warm season cloud seeding. Cold season, snowpack augmentation. From ground-based seeding generators, like I showed you right here, these are ground-based cloud seeding generators on the mountains in Colorado. And you can see right here, this is Bow Sierra by Weather Modification Incorporated. The Wyoming Water Development Commission, 25 square miles. Down here, you can see this is Western Weather Consultants for the Denver Water Department, snow augmentation. And this is Aspen right here, Aspen, Colorado. Western Weather Consultants, they're doing the weather modification. Central Colorado Mountain River Basins Program, paid for it. Links to documents backing up the claims. Didn't have to put that in there, just knew about it, so might as well put it in there. Original documentation where I actually got these cloud seeding generators straight from the horse's mouth. Maps, we love maps. And cloud seeding generator picture right there. Let's go over here so you guys can actually see it. And these are what the ground-based cloud seeding generators look like. You got the fancy one, which is remote control with the solar panel and all that stuff. And then you got the old redneck version, which is just basically a propane and a acetone tank, and then a silver iodide box with a burner on top, and it shoots it up in the sky. So they show you all that right here in this nice little infographic. And we'll go over here. And you can see basically it uses orographic lift, meaning wind that rushes up the western side of the mountain to carry it on top, or aircraft-based seeding with silver iodide particles to increase snowfall. This is called snowpack augmentation. And then you have aircraft seeding, which is this is hygroscopic seeding, usually done with either calcium chloride or sodium chloride, also silver iodide, in warm season clouds using updraft. So they would seed, it pulls it up into the cloud, water eventually coagulates, condenses on it, falls as rain. That's what cloud seeding is. Okay, for the definition of this video we're watching right now, this is cloud seeding that we are talking about. Not geoengineering, not chemtrails, none of that. We're talking about this. And it literally says right here, can we control the weather? No, you cannot control the weather. They cannot control the weather. And they know this. It is literally just gambling at this point. And I'm going to really hammer that point home after I get through this. But maintain status quo effects. For example, cloud seeding operators, federal agencies, and researchers continue to apply technologies and approaches that have already been tested and commercially available. These are policy options. They give a couple of these right here. I don't really want to go through all of them, but this is the one I want to focus on. Improve monitoring and oversight. For example, NOAA could use existing authority to work with other government entities, researchers, and operators to update required data for reporting. That's what needs to happen, okay? And make changes to improve standardization of annual reports. Better quality and transparency of information would improve broad understanding of cloud seeding. NOAA's weather modification reporting form could require more specific information, e.g. flare constituents and seeding yield statistics. Oh no, we don't want statistics. We don't want to, we don't want to have to tell people the truth that we're just basically gambling with your weather. There is no weather control. There is only weather modification. That's why it's literally called that. It says weather modification reports, weather and climate collections, weather modification project reports. They don't control crap. They don't control a darn thing. And I'm really going to hammer that point home. I just want to get through this and then we'll go there. Let me ask you, will this, all this will change somehow with Stardust? No, it will not. That is the exact point. The video I did just a couple days ago about Stardust Solutions, or Stardust Labs, the Israeli geoengineering company, they want to geoengineer the whole planet, which is effectively seeding the stratosphere with chemicals and then saying that they know what's going to happen, that it's just going to cool down the planet, everything's going to be fine. Bro, 79 years, and they still have not been able to prove cloud seeding works. 79 years. Can't prove it works. Keep on making that money. This is the truth. This is just the truth, guys. Standardized federal data reporting could improve data uniformity, making research and understanding generalizable and better support independent evaluations. And then this is in the other section here. Managing these are drawbacks, considerations. Managing the increased volume and rate of data may become cost prohibitive. What, to NOAA, to the government? You mean too much information may be cost prohibitive because of the volume and rate of data? Shut up. I have never in my life heard the government say something would be cost prohibitive. Oh, are you talking about for the people who are actually trying to control the weather, attempting to control the weather, telling people they're selling snake oil to that they can control the weather? Bro, please. I don't even want to hear this consideration. Some operators may not share some information on cloud seeding flares due to proprietary concerns. Oh, you mean you're not using silver iodide? You're not using something that's just real generic? You're using something that has intellectual property you don't want to share with the public? Well, guess what, buddy? If you're spraying that crap into the sky to make it rain or make it hail, break up hail or make fake snow, then maybe I want to actually know what the heck you're putting up there. I mean, it's my right to know what you're putting up there. I don't care about your intellectual property, okay? I don't care about your IP right, your proprietary concerns. First of all, that should be right there in the law to begin with. If you're using something that you cannot disclose and does not have a material safety data sheet and you've not done any environmental studies, you probably shouldn't be spraying it in the freaking sky. Government Accountability Office. But that's just common sense from some, hick in South Carolina. What do I know? Various entities may lack incentives or awareness of reporting requirement. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's what I was always told. Oh, you know what, officer? I didn't know that there were speed limits. Really? I mean, this literally came out last month from the Government Accountability Office. Various entities may lack incentives or awareness of reporting requirement. They didn't know they were supposed to report it, or they weren't properly incentivized. You mean a $10,000 fine, which, let's be real, it was written in 1972. That's a joke today. A $10,000 fine, if you don't report it and somebody actually catches you doing it. This is my level of frustration with this topic, is the stupidity I hear coming not just out of the government, but out of all of the content creators that talk about weather control, geoengineering. They're just, the level of dumb drives me insane lately. And still open invitation. Any one of you people on the internet, whether it be, YouTuber to freaking, Alex Jones himself or freaking any scientist, you want to come on here and tell me where I'm wrong, you're welcome to. I will gladly debate anybody, anytime on any of these topics, anytime, open freaking bet. Jim at ClimateViewer.com, hit me up. I'd love to argue with somebody. Exothermal sprocket. I saved a mailbag thing for the end, and apparently a guy got into it with you, and I was about to read that comment section from the dude who's like, geoengineering never happened, and he apparently was arguing with you. But good to see you here, man. I was going to just prove the guy wrong, but it could turn into its own damn video. Let's be real. Groups may also vary in their ability to report information due to funding or operational constraints. This, again, so let me get this straight. you can take hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from private organizations to go and modify the weather, but you can't report the information, which is required by law, because you can't afford it. You can't afford to fill out a PDF. Better argument. Government Accountability Office. Let's get this straight. For the last 4 years, the Department of Homeland Security literally made an app so that illegal immigrants could take a picture of their face, GPS location where they are, and then have somebody from the border czar sent down there to fly their butt into our country illegally. You guys, our federal government, made an app for that so that people in real time from foreign countries could apply for asylum in real time, but you can't make a freaking app where people who try to control the weather, who do cloud seeding projects, who want to do outdoor experiments for geoengineering, we don't have an app for that, and you're giving them excuses for why they haven't done it? I'd love to see my tax dollars actually go to something useful and protecting our environment. Since you guys are so big on climate change and protecting the environment, how about you protect us from the people who are modifying the climate? That would be a good start. Anyway, enough about this stupid Government Accountability Office report. I'm going to drop a link to it in the chat. There you go, everybody. GAO.gov. GAO.gov, and the report is called Cloud Seeding Technology, Assessing Effectiveness and Other Challenges, GAO-25-107-328. If you didn't get the link, you can at least Google it. But over here on weathermodificationhistory.com, I've had this page up for quite a while, and it goes through specifically just weather modification activities. Weather modification, chemical and electric weather control. This is a cloud seeding flare tree. This is a plane with cloud seeding racks, flares on its wing. These are electric cloud ionizer towers. They use negatively charged ions. This is specifically Mateo Systems WeatherTech system for using negatively charged ions. All in one picture, so you got some electricity, you got some ground-based cloud seeding flare racks. That's the Hogs system. Kind of fancy flare tree. Can do multiple deployments. And each one of my frequently asked question pages has a nice presentation and usually has one for dummies. My heart page, YouTube decided they didn't like it very much, so they just got rid of it. But regardless, cloud seeding right here, you can read all about the history of it and, things about that. But right here, does cloud seeding work? Now, this really got ugly in 2003, and this one made all of the weather modification companies big mad. Okay, big freaking mad. Now, what happened? The National Research Council said, although 40 years has passed since the first National Academy of Science report on weather modification, this committee finds itself very much in concurrence with the findings of that assessment. We conclude that initiation of large-scale operational weather modification programs would be premature. Many fundamental problems must be answered first. It is unlikely that these problems will be solved by the expansion of present efforts which emphasize the a posteriori evaluation of largely uncontrolled experiments. These are uncontrolled experiments. This is not weather control. This made the people making all the money off of weather control so mad. So mad. This is the Weather Modification Association's response to the National Research Council's report titled Critical Issues in Weather Modification Research. Yeah, baby. And just so you know, I bookmarked it, I downloaded it because they've now put a login screen up there. So if you want to read their report, it's right here because I mirrored it, and you can actually see it for yourself, because I know how these guys work by now. I've been doing this long enough. Everything I publish on my website, which is shadow banned from the internet, which is deleted from the Google, you cannot find ClimateViewer.com, weathermodificationhistory.com. You cannot find me. I am a ghost on the internet. They fear me. Fear me. But I still have all the receipts. All of them. Anyway, it was concluded that tests conducted so far have not yet provided either statistical or physical evidence required to establish seeding concepts have been scientifically proven. In fact, it could make things worse. The gust front from which will trigger the successive development of more vigorous second, third, and fourth generation cells than those from unseeded clouds. This is from a critical assessment of hygroscopic seeding of convective clouds for rainfall enhancement. This was published in 2003. This is a separate paper saying that seeding has not been scientifically proven, and in fact that clouds that have been seeded with silver iodide and other chemicals could actually make more vigorous second, third, and fourth generation storm cells than those from unseeded clouds. That's right. It can make the weather angry. It can make the weather angry. Let's get even uglier. In 2007, the Edwards Aquifer approved cloud seeding efforts for the 9th year in a row, and for the first time, the program included a method to statistically evaluate the project's effectiveness. 4 board members voted against continuing the program, saying there was evidence that cloud seeding could actually decrease rainfall by accident. And they also had concerns about the Edwards Aquifer Association paying for scientific studies to investigate something the National Academy had already concluded doesn't work. Talking about what I just read here, the 2003 report. So literally this 2003 report just changed so much about, what people believed. And here you go, 2007, they're like, why are we paying for this? It could literally decrease rainfall by accident. We could actually be creating a drought by cloud seeding. That's called overseeding. If you don't have a proper mixture of water vapor and cloud seeds, then if you have too many cloud seeds, there's not enough water vapor. What happens? You don't get enough condensation on that seed to get heavy enough and large enough to fall as rain. So instead of you getting large raindrops, you just have a whole bunch, millions and billions of little seeds with little bits of water on them, and that cloud just floats on by to the next state till it finally gets enough water vapor and then floods somebody else. Think about that for a moment. Think about that for a moment. When you think about where all of the weather modification projects are going on, how dry it is in California, how everybody's like, well, why didn't they just, use some weather modification to put the fires out? Do you know how many people tweeted and emailed me that question? And I'm like, because it wouldn't work. You can't make this stuff up. Purposeful augmentation of precipitation, reduction of hail damage, dispersion of fog, and other types of cloud and storm modifications by cloud seeding are developing technologies which are still striving to achieve scientific foundation. Executive summary of the World Meteorological Organization statement on weather modification by the World Meteorological Society Expert Team on Weather Modification Research 2010. It don't work. It does not work. Still striving to achieve scientific foundation. We're 2025 and it's only gotten worse. So they wanted to prove that the National Academy of Sciences was wrong, that the National Research critical assessment was wrong. So they actually did something called the Wyoming Weather Modification Pilot Program. Hell, I mapped it out. Let's look at it. Wyoming Weather Modification Pilot Program, and we'll bring up the terrain. And you can see it right here. So on this mountain range right here, as you can see, these are mountains. They set up cloud seeding generators all along these mountains and these mountains over here. Okay. Now, this is the Wyoming Weather Modification Pilot Program. All the information on it, original reports, cloud seeding, gambling with your weather. I wrote an article about it. This was all the way back in freaking 2014. Fail. Major fail. Analysis showed that cloud seeding produced a 3% increase in precipitation with a 28% probability this result happened by chance. Most scientists and statisticians wouldn't accept that level of uncertainty, says Breed, who was part of the NCAR team that analyzed the results. But for water managers in drought-prone areas, it's a different story. If you say, I'm 70% confident that this will have an impact, well, a lot of them will think that's not too bad. That's literally a quote. That is literally a quote. It is in red right down here. That's the cloud seeding generators they were using. Little bit of information on all that. And there's the quote right there. That is the state of the art in weather control. Okay? It's pathetic. And Jeff just said on X, and they're making bank. They're making bank. Hey, you make it rain on me, I'll make it rain on you. I'll make it rain on you. I mean, that's what they're doing in Abu Dhabi. They got the Arab money. That's really all it's about. You know, they'll take that money and they will run to the bank with it. So, how do I do this where you guys can actually see it? All right. So here we go. This is one of my personal favorites. And everybody, I want you guys to have these quotes too. So like, I'll just drop it in chat, but it's really easy to get to. If you go to weathermodificationhistory.com, you literally go to FAQs. It's right here. Let me get the picture out of the way. FAQs, frequently asked questions. There's the patents section, which is like 1,181 freaking patents. And you can search through them. So you can literally search through every patent there is. Like, just type in hail. And it'll show you like flame agent surface furnace for hail suppression rocket. This is a Chinese 2024 patent. I mean, I have all the patents. Every patent worldwide. All in one spot. Nobody can top what I just did because I literally have them all. All, he says. And if it's not in there, send it to me, jim@climateviewer.com, because I might not have all of them. But anyway, right here it says FAQs, geoengineering, weather modification, space modification. This is HARP and sounding rockets. This is geoengineering, not the geoengineering you're thinking about. We're not talking about chemtrails. This is weather modification. Just click here and you're right back where I was. Okay? So it's that easy for you guys to find. This is probably my favorite my favorite quote of all because it's the one that makes the most sense. It's necessary to point out that many attempts and experiments to modify the atmospheric processes and weather phenomena have been made in the previous century. However, both geoengineering and weather modification are considered outside of the scope of control theory. How many people watched Jurassic Park? Do you remember that scene where he was dripping water on the lady's arm and then showing how the water would run down because of minute changes in your skin and variations and small little bumps and the way your hairs go? That is chaos theory. That is not control theory. That is what they're talking about right here. This paper was written in 2015 on the possible use of geophysical cybernetics in climate manipulation, geoengineering, and weather modification. This is a heavy read, but it's worth it. If you really want to get into the deep end of the pool, that statement is the statement of the century, because they are outside of the scope of control theory, because the sky is a river, the sky is chaos. We cannot properly model chaos. We cannot properly predict what the outcomes of this chaotic system will be after it has been perturbed, after it has been modified. So, can you create weather chaos? Can you do weather warfare? Can you create climate chaos? Yeah. Dump a bunch of chemicals up there. Find out what happens. As they say online nowadays, FAFO. FAFO. That's what they're doing up in the sky. That was 2015. How about 2020? Although this study focuses on only 3 cases, the results are fundamentally a fundamental step forward in understanding cloud seeding efficacy that for over half a century has been unanswered question for water managers wishing to utilize the technology for water resource management. This is quantifying snowfall from orographic cloud seeding proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, and followed up by a great little article title. I think the article title from Science Alert really, really summarizes this best. Cloud seeding really does work, but only makes enough snow to dust your eyelashes. Boom! Boom. And finally, the Israel 4 experiment was stopped a year earlier than planned because the result was disappointing. A 1.8 increase, p-value 0.4, and a 95% confidence interval of 11%, 16%. These results led to a decision by the Israel Water Authority to stop operational seeding. Israel has been cloud seeding for 50 years. Yoav Benhamini, the Israel 4 cloud seeding experiments, primary results, Journal of Applied Meteorology and Climatology, 2023. Now, that's what I call bringing them receipts. So, from the gentleman who invented cloud seeding, Irving Langmuir, Bernard Vonnegut, and most importantly, Vincent Schaefer, because he's the one that blew in a refrigerator, in the amount of energy liberated from the effect of 30 milligrams of silver iodide under I'm ruining the shot. Beautiful graphics here. 30 milligrams of silver iodide under optimum conditions equals that of 1 atomic bomb. So yes, chemical weather modification has a huge and outsized change in thermal properties of weather. But we don't know what's going to happen when you do it. This is cloud seeding. What did Dr. Irving Langmuir say about cloud seeding? He said this. He invented the group of 3 invented cloud seeding at GE Labs in 1947. In 1955, blames Air Force for floods. The man who fathered the science of making rain said Thursday he believes armed forces experiments may have caused the disastrous Missouri Valley floods of June 1952. Dr. Irving Langmuir, a Nobel Prize winner and consultant for GE General Electric Co. experiments with rainmaking, also declared, 1. An Air Force test on the tornado off the eastern coast October 17, 1947, may have turned the twister off its course and pushed it into Savannah, Georgia, with damage of $5 million, referring to Operation Cirrus, Project Cirrus, and that's when they steered the Cape Sable hurricane. It says twister, but it was a hurricane. It was a tropical storm. And less than 11 months after inventing cloud seeding, that the Air Force ended up steering the Cape Sable hurricane into Savannah, Georgia. Damaged $5 million in 1955. You do the math with inflation. Not good. Number 2. There is evidence that rainmaking in some areas may create droughts in others. This is not Jim Lee saying it. This is Dr. Irving Langmuir, inventor of cloud seeding, saying it. Langmuir was interviewed while attending the International Arid Land Symposium, where scientists from 18 nations are seeking answers to the rapidly growing and arid regions which already cover a third of the Earth's land surface. Steady downpour. He declared that he thinks now, and insisted at the time, that a single silver iodide generator operating out of Alamogordo, New Mexico, under Project Cirrus, caused the steady downpours which drowned the Missouri Valley 3 years ago. Quote, "We had been seeding for some time, and the storms kept getting bigger and better. I told them, the Armed Forces heads administering the project, that I felt we ought to stop seeding as it rains in the Missouri Valley kept falling. But the administrator of the project was on vacation at the time. No one would take responsibility for ordering the seeding stopped. Finally, I told them they must stop. Things were getting serious. We stopped on July 2nd. On July 7th, the flood just about devastated Omaha. If we had stopped our generator 2 weeks earlier," Langmuir said, "the Missouri Valley floods would not have happened." So can you create weather chaos? Can you create vast destruction from cloud seeding? Yes. Is that weather control? No. It's still not weather control. And from the other inventor of cloud seeding cause of U.S. floods. This is 1951. A pioneer rainmaker said there should be an investigation to determine whether cloud seeding might have intensified the devastating Midwest floods. Dr. Vincent J. Schaefer, weather scientist at General Electric Research Lab, created the first man-made snowfalls in November 1946 and pioneered artificial rain-making experiments. He said the fact that seeding operations in the West are more widespread this year than ever before made it imperative that a critical but unbiased study should be made to determine whether these seeding activities intensified or influenced unusual storms. Senate and House Representative committees have been investigating rainmaking for months to see if there is a need for federal control over cloud seedings. Experiments before the committees Experts before the committees have split sharply over just how much rain can be produced by artificial means. This was controversial from the start. If you want to see more of this weather modification history, please go to weathermodificationhistory.com/newspapers and check out this amazing vault created by Dominic Marama of over 800 newspapers from the 1800s to present, and you can just flip through the years, or you can just hit that shuffle button. Just shuffle it around. See really crazy things like Tesla's tidal wave to make war impossible. Ooh. But it's all there, guys, and it's so much fun. And you can dig into the history. There's another one on the Tesla's thing. I just love the artwork on these old newspapers too. Pretty cool stuff. pretty cool indeed. And if you actually look at the size of these images, I think it'll blow your mind, because these are very big images, like this big. That's full size. Just to give you an idea of how big. That's probably 15,000 pixels wide. These are very, very big images. So if you'd like to dig into the history of weather modification, learn a little bit more about it, do that at weathermodificationhistory.com. I think we made the point that there is no such thing as weather control. There's only weather modification. Weather modification consists of chemical processes, electrical processes. The chemical processes predominantly are used around the world today. Mostly silver iodide, calcium chloride, some dry ice. The United Arab Emirates, they're using titanium iodide now. They're using silicon dioxide and graphene oxide nanoparticles. They're using cloud ionizers from the ground and from drones, and using lasers to make it rain. Lasers are also used for lightning bolts, like laser lightning rods. You can't make this stuff up. But none of this is weather control. None of it. You certainly cannot control something the size of a hurricane. You can't even control a rain cloud. And that's been proven time and time again. And just as recent as this past December, the Government Accountability Office is just reiterating what I have known for decades. Cloud seeding is just gambling with your weather. And now you know. So I hope that the next time somebody brings up the topic of cloud seeding and they're like, oh, cloud seeding is normal, it's just been around forever and everybody knows about that. No, they don't. No, they don't. Even the people paying for it, most of the people paying for it, don't know this history. Don't know that it's not effective. Don't know that it's dangerous. It's unpredictable and should be closely monitored. And we're not even talking about geoengineering the whole planet by blocking sunlight. If you found this video informative, please leave a like. Please subscribe. Please share this video with other people. And remember that though we may disagree, attack ideas, not people. See you guys on the next one. If this video resonates with you, leave me a comment because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.